Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Breakdown with Renmar, a show where we analyze and discuss my favorite sequences from each day of MPL Philippines Season 14. We're going to be looking at Week 1, Day 2 matches for this one, and focusing mainly on two roamers, Light of RSG Philippines in their matchup up against Team Liquid Philippines, and CH4KNU from Smart Omega, and how they won as a team up against Falcons AP Bren. This is currently being recorded at 2:30 in the morning, Monday morning, so let's get things started with Light. So this is actually a play that flew under the radar from most people, and I wanted to highlight it because this is one of the reasons why Light is one of my favorite roamers in MPL Philippines Season 14. So we have to understand the information that RSG got and what we know in the map. Number one, the Lord is up, or just about to be up, 2 seconds at the respawn. Number 2, Naths has information where Carl TZ and JPR. Probably no info on Sanji and Sanford, but we'll get to that later on. So in this scenario, teams want to build advantage. They either want to whittle down, bring down the opposing jungler low, or get the kill, or just get someone. Mainly the roamer would be really good because it takes down a frontliner and a vision getter for the opposing team and makes every attempt to take down the Lord or major objective risky for any team that loses the roamer heading into it. Not impossible, but it's risky. So with Naths getting the information, RSGPH decides to commit the play. And this is the right decision here because you have a EXP laner that can punish, can sustain himself. That's the Toms. And of course, RSG, they're there. And they actually committed a conceal. So Naths already knows where JP is. Carl TZ got to shadow out. But teams have a pretty good understanding, or pro players have a pretty good understanding of where the Hayabusa shadows would eventually end up in the map. Do they always know 100%? No. But they have a relatively good idea. So one thing you want to notice here is that Sanji and Sanford immediately start pulling back, even though they actually have the advantage over Light, because Light concealed and didn't have information that Sanji and Sanford were in that shrub. Before they committed this, RSG Philippines only knows where Carl TZ and JP are. So TLPH are going to pull what we call a rope-a-dope, meaning they back off before they re-engage and counter-punish again. That is a signature of Team Liquid PH. And Sanji and Sanford understand the importance of their position in this game and in this sequence, and that they have a high chance of being the main turnaround points for Team Liquid Philippines alongside the late entry of Benny Cutie, who at this moment RSG doesn't have a lot of info on. So we're gonna begin the sequence, and at this point, Light already knows where Sanji is, and it's safe to assume that the mid laner, even though it's a Zask, will probably have help. And tendencies of TLPH always pair Sansan together most of the time because they can be the turnaround conditions for fights. Remember, we pointed that out, but that was because of their heroes. So RSGPH know that JP is gonna get taken down here, so we'll continue and we'll pause it right there. RSG know now that JP is here and that this place is dangerous. Light was able to walk in that shrub. He was able to walk into that shrub, so he knows that there is a shadow over here. So watch what Light does. I'm gonna play it first and then we'll go back and analyze it. You'll see Light, bang. Beautiful. What he did just there. You know there's gonna be a shadow there. You don't know if Carl TZ is there, but you know someone is there. And good thing the circles ended up there because this is what we want to focus on. Light commits the flicker, the earth shatter already charging up, so by the time that it finishes, gets a knockup, gets 2. He doesn't get Carl, but he gets the 2 heroes that are supposed to be the backbone of the TLPH turnaround, the Arlot and the Zask. Kusei will be able to take down JP. Erad gets a great knockup from the enhanced sword. Yeah, enhanced sword. Enhanced chain. And RSG Philippines would be able to get the cleanup. Great ultimate, by the way, from Kusei, who was able to land it to JP, go in, port in. That's 4 for RSG Philippines, and they would eventually win this game from that sequence because there's not enough members of Team Liquid Philippines left to defend sufficiently. Now we're gonna go into Smart Omega versus Falcons AP Bren, and one of the best sacrifice plays I've ever seen in my entire career. So this is the lay of the map. The Lord is about to spawn in 4 seconds, and you have 4 members of Smart Omega there. Obviously, the lane is gonna be playing in the off lane, or the far lane, as we'd like to call it. It's the lane opposite of the Lord. So if ever you hear us casters call something as the far lane, it's this if the Lord is here, and vice versa. If the Lord is here, then this is the far lane. Okay, because I see that in the comment section sometimes. What the hell is a far lane? That's the far lane. The information now for Omega is that Kyle TZ is here. You don't know where the other members of FCAP are that much yet. You don't know if Ogwen's here. But that is a possibility, because this is one of the tendencies of teams. If you have a jungler that won't have the best of outs or can get chased down by an opposing member of the team, then you want someone shadowing him. So you want someone backing up your jungler or whoever is split pushing. And remember, Falcons AP Bren made the name for themselves with what we call as the buddy system, meaning they always have members together or members nearby to cover. With the Lord spawning and with the information that Smart Omega has, you have to watch CH4KNU. Now this is something that a lot of the people pointed out and really appreciated that he did. Now, at this point, the play is clear because you have information. CH4KNU was able to get the info. You know where Flap, Few, Marco are, and you know where Kyle TZ is coming from. So there will be no time for the members of Falcons AP Bren to get to the Lord unless someone absolutely rushes themselves to the Lord. And one of the ways that Omega would take that into account is that, number 1, CH4KNU has a Winter Crown. Number 2, the positioning of Okir, yes, even though he's here by the Lord, anyone from Falcons AP Bren who decides to get within the area, they're gonna get crowd control and they're gonna take damage. But this buy time that CH4KNU did, it's just pure raw roamer instincts of, okay, take me, just don't take my teammates. Buy time, Falcons AP Bren focus. Falcons AP Bren tried to chase down the members of OMG. They're not gonna get anyone. What a play by CH4KNU. So one thing you're asking is, why does the Franco have a Winter Crown? Well, remember, with the changes to Winter Crown, or the new Winter Crown item, because it replaced Winter Truncheon, your abilities, channeled otherwise, will not get interrupted if you use the Winter Crown. So it's safe for a Franco to use. You bite your opponent with the Bloody Hunt, and then use the Winter Crown so you're safe. It won't interrupt the channel, and at the same time, you yourself cannot get interrupted, meaning the full duration of the ultimate of the Franco will get locked in. To wrap up this episode, one last play from Falcons AP Bren versus Omega, and how Omega was able to defend at a key moment and use this as a way to continue their turnaround and eventual victory up against Falcons AP Bren in Game 3 and in the whole series. The scenario is Falcons AP Bren is marching in with the Lord and Omega has to defend. But an important thing is that in this lineup, Falcons AP Bren does not have what we call a traditional marksman. Yeah, the Roger has the human form to be able to damage from range. Yes, you also have the Zask there, but you don't have that hard marksman that is similar to the likes of the Brody, the Claude, the Moskovs of the world, those types of heroes, you know? Now, not to say that this is a bad lineup by Falcons AP Bren. I mean, look at the lead. 10.2k, 17 minutes in, 47 for Omega, 57 here. It's getting to the point where the gold lead doesn't matter, but in this scenario, Falcons AP Bren probably have a few handful of potions, 1 or 2 item advantages, especially for the roamer, maybe even the EXP laner. So it is still an advantage for Falcons AP Bren. But the kicker here is that their lineup, again, all heroes put themselves in very dangerous scenarios. Even the Zask. Yes, the Dominator's Descent, his ultimate, can actually have some pretty high health, especially in the late game, but you're all just in one pretty obvious area. Even their gold laner, the Ruby, who is just in this scenario another fighter but a little bit more offensive, wants to put itself in a dangerous position, and the Roger has to wait, either damage with just little bits of basic attack within your human form, and then eventually wait, go in, dive with a Lycan Pounce. But it's just so difficult. Most importantly, because they're up against a Lilia. Again, the Lilia rose at around MPL Philippines Season 11 because she was the response, or one of the main responses to what we call the slow front to back, those tanky tanky junglers, you know, those slow team fights where it's like first the roamer goes down, XP goes down, then backline, you know, instead of the scramble that we get now. Since the team fighting of Falcons AP Bren is pretty obvious, they're gonna be coming from one area. The Lilia is such a great pick. You also have the Harith, you're gonna have the combination of a Glorious Pathway and a Zaman Force that the members of Falcons AP Bren are really forced to just clump up in one area while they are all being crowd AoE damaged by Lilia continuously. The damage coming in from the Synchro Fission and the enhanced basic attacks of a Harith. The members of Falcons AP Bren put themselves at risk of just eating up the big fracture from the Nolan. You have a Kufra. This is a great draft by Omega to respond to the draft of Falcons AP Bren. Which, again, we have to commend Falcons AP Bren for even getting to the point where they have a massive lead with how well they played the game and how well Kyle TZ was popping off. But they just felt the inevitable difficulty of this lineup ending the game, especially when it's close and the Lilia and Harith can really make things hurt for you. You have to watch what CH4KNU does here. Gets the minion waves. He pulls them. It's a little thing, a very little detail, but that means that's one less minion wave to threaten the base, because you have this minion wave here. Let those minions through and there's a chance Kyle, maybe few, will just forget about all of this action and just go ahead and focus the base. But CH4KNU decides to pull the minion wave all the way next to the wall. My goodness. All the way right there up next to the wall. Ogwen will get taken down first, and you see here just all of the layering of abilities. And even Kyle TZ and Few understand that they have a chance to end it, if ever. But it will get covered by Smart Omega. With where Andoryu goes, Kyle TZ and Few decide to help with the fight because they lost one. They immediately need to build advantage and turn things around. You're seeing how well Ryota is holding because of, well, Revitalize on a high loss. One of the most disgusting tactics that we have, and I mean that in the best way possible. Respect. I use that too. And yeah, Omega just gets to turn things around. Good ultimate as well from CH4KNU to just disrupt. Kyle TZ goes in. He still gets stunned there by the basic attack, if I'm not mistaken, of the high loss plus the second skill. And now I'm going to continue playing this because something really cool happens. Super Marco gets to pull back Jome with a big flicker. But in this scenario, look what happened. Since Andoryu showed himself and was low, Kyle TZ went after Andoryu. Can't blame or fault Kyle TZ for doing that, because that's also a key target that you want to take down. He'll be able to take down Andoryu. Mission accomplished, but more information. Harith is low. That would have been called by Super Marco. The Harith is low. He's in the jungle. So, Kyle TZ is going to do what anyone would do in this scenario really. Chase after it, and Few chases after him too. What Jome does is he immediately goes for the Scaled Lizard because he knows he can heal from it. And heal he will. Even Kyle TZ, once he sees what Jome's doing, wait, this is risky. Watch the heal on Jome, just minimal, but it's something. Goes in, Ryota's there, Kyle TZ already taking hits, he was able to land his skill. But that is a takedown. Omega would eventually be able to defend this and eventually be able to push out, contest for the Lord, punish another overextension or a really good spot by Omega to read the rotation of Kyle TZ and where he would want to go and check. They would get the Lord and eventually Omega would win the series. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that episode. We have another one coming up later this week for day 3 of week 1. Again, my name is Renmar and this is my breakdown. See you in the next one.